like I say, because of my massive amount of money that I was spending on Colombia, actually, at one point in time, 1/3 or 2/3 of the world's food was actually being grown in Colombia, because it is because of the dry, because it doesn't rain in Colombia that much. Actually, I think it's like a desert or something, or there's something about it. Anyway, certain parts of Colombia. Well, actually, they say it rains a lot. I don't know. Anyway, though, but basically, certain parts of Colombia were actually dry as a bone and needed water. So basically, what we did is we took water from other places and put them into Colombia. So, like I say, the pipeline goes down, goes into there, and then basically is pumped up and basically goes into farms and everywhere else. If you shut off the Panama Canal, the water supply, Brazil and Colombia would go in a couple years. A lot of the water that goes to Colombia is actually pumped there. So anyway, but nobody knows. I mean, we use certain water for creating power to pump the water to the farms and everywhere else. And it's this big complicated system that is Colombia and the Brazil and everywhere else. It's really expensive. It was really, really expensive, like $2 billion in total, or well, it was 300 million or 200,000 back in the day, 250,000 back in the day, which became, well, it would be equivalent of $300 billion or something like that. But because I was making money from the metal and everything else, my cost wasn't that high, and actually dwindled to like $350. There you go, king, or $3, which was taken from my account. Like I said, my money that I made was ding. Anyway, I was leader inventor, so basically I purchased it and own it. So people helped out. Otherwise, I wasn't going to be able to afford it. So with my money, and I actually got a donation from some female to actually buy it, and some other things. So females actually played a big role actually in my existence and everything else, because, well, they didn't want to get raped, and I didn't want them to be raped, and so. And my laws would prevent them from being raped, and everyone else was like rapier and all this other stuff, and really didn't regard females as anything particularly special, more than just basically something to stick their dick in, basically. So, and regarded young women and children as basically pretty much you can stick your dick in them and actually not have a baby or something like that. Like all women, like from the age of like 5 years old, were basically raped and forced to have sex, and they can actually produce a child as young as like 6 years old. There are 6-year-old women that had babies. Anyway, it's rather disgusting and horrible. And basically 40-year-old men or old men basically having sex with young girls. And it happened, and I stomped it and I crushed it like. In fact, young women were basically regarded as just sex toys that you can purchase and own back in the day. And were sold on street corners as basically like, want a child? Anyway, I did not like it or find it appealing to me, and I was more powerful than most people. So, anyway, yes. I'm sorry if I killed too many of your psychotic psycho people, but pretty much I had armies and I had a lot of money, and I preferred that women were not molested or raped from the day that they were born. So anyway, I might have been a little bit over the top with my rules and my regulations and everything else, but, well, it's a little late now, as they say. Anyway, though, I mean, I just regarded the opinion of the female to be something that was important to me, and like I say. Anyway, I don't really know really more than that. I spent a lot of effort so women could be free and happy and snuggly and actually get a warm, loving, caring relationship instead of just held down and pushed into the pillow until they stopped screaming while somebody rammed their you-know-what into their backside. And I did not find that romantic, nor tasteful, nor did I regard it as something I wished to have around. And like I said, death, pretty much, for those who would break my rules. At some times. Anyway, until men finally got the message, which they did at some point. So, Or at least mostly. Good enough, anyway. So, anyway. And I'm sorry for anything that, many misunderstandings or anything else. I do love my male population very much and care about them, but they were acting very badly and in poor taste, as they would say. And I had Germany and quite a few other countries at my beck and call. So, anyway, now women can walk through the streets and wear nice, fine clothes and not worry about being accosted by every single male in the room. Anyway. And that's pretty much what happened. And for that, some men, and mostly zombie wave men or whatever, decided that they should deny me everything and treat me like a normal person. Because of how I denied them from their tribal lust. I don't really give a fuck. I don't care. But anyway, if anyone wants to know, I initiated a race war, or Ireland initiated a race war with the black people and a bunch of rapists and killers that like to, like I said, that like to hold women down with their head into the pillow, and basically, and so no one, to stifle the screams from their mouth as someone rammed them from behind. And that's what pillows were mostly used for in the past. And they did not regard, they literally just rammed it in as hard as they possibly could. So, anyway. Yeah, even young children, like I say. Like I say, it does not fit when they're that young. And several men did not particularly care about that fact. But I would make them care eventually. So anyway. In fact, ripping a young girl open wide was considered something special back in the day. Yeah. Anyway, like I say, things came from the dark to pull them kicking and screaming into the darkness, where they were eaten or killed. I had a few other races at my beck and call. Anyway, and did not like what they were doing. In fact, it angered me quite severely, like I say. And I'm sorry about the repercussions or whatever. It's just the way I was. So anyway.